we are finally getting somewhere, I would say. The next part is slightly different. It's not only about Vimix anymore, but about a software called OpenStage Control. Not like in the beginning of this tutorial, I'm not going to show you how to install OpenStage Control on your system. I think there is, well, not plenty, but there are some good tutorials that I learned from how to get all this set up, and I recommend you to search for them, or let me know if you need some links in the description. I will put them there. So for now, yeah, this is the what I want to do is this is my Midi controller, one of my Midi controllers I have here, and the goal of implementing OpenStage control with Vimix is that I want to use the interface we are going to create in OpenStage control to be hooked up to my Midi controller, and thus controlling Vimix. So you can call it an in-between interface. I'm talking about OpenStage control, but with the great advantage that you can either use your Midi controller or the user interface we are going to create in OpenStage control. Sounds confusing? Of course, yeah, I'm going to show you. So very basic, just a quick explanation of OSC commands. What is Open Sound Control? As I said before, don't mix this up with the name OpenStage Control. This is the software. Sorry, I'm just stopping that and cleaning. This is the software called OpenStage Control. I'm pretty sure it's this is not by accident called that like that, OSC, because it's all about, let me write it down here, it's all about Open Sound Control. If you're familiar with it, well, lucky you. If you are not, I highly recommend to get some information on the internet about that. For me, it's the better Midi signal. But it is no Midi signal. So, okay, what is Open Sound Control? It's a command with which you can control stuff. Let me just call it stuff. And an Open Sound Control command, in its very basis, consists of an IP address plus the port. So this would be the IP address of a PC that you want to talk to or send the commands to. Then it consists of an address. So this is becoming way more clearer when I just show you an address. So this is a unique address for something that you want to control. An argument type. This means what type of data are you sending? This could be an integer like E, or a float like a F, B like a Boolean, and of course the corresponding value that you want to send. So these are the four parts, and well, let me just show you. This is just an example that, for example, OpenStage Control will receive and send if we are pressing some knobs or turning some faders. So let me just turn off the light here, don't need it anymore. We will have a look at that in a few moments. Okay, so as I said, OpenStage Control is installed. I hope you find some good tutorials on that. Otherwise, I will link you to some of them. If it is set up, you need to give it a port. And oh, this is okay, very, very important and basic. So let me just be important here. You have to, in Linux or especially Ubuntu systems, if you're working with these kind of servers that you need, basically OpenStage control sets up a server that is sending and receiving data, you need to open the ports on your firewall. Otherwise, it will not work, and you will fiddle around and you will have no idea what is going on, why no data streams are working. So open the ports on both of your machines, means if you're connecting several machines together, but open your ports on the firewall that you are using. Okay, important, very important. Okay, OpenStage control, let's fire it up. This is what you would see. I just turned on debug, that we have some output here. This is nothing too special at the moment. Okay, this is the very first thing you would see in OpenStage control. Click on the 3 dots here and create a new session. You will directly hop into the editing mode, so you can get rid of this by Control E, like edit, right? And another thing that confused me in the beginning, I like to have more tabs. Tabs will be explained as soon as I'm going to create one. If you are in this is a tab, this is the root tab. So if you're now creating something here, they are called widgets. You will not have the opportunity anymore to create a new tab. This will just be gone. So do this in the very beginning. For your root, as you can see, a tab will be created in this tree under root. So I like working with tabs, so do this, otherwise the option will be gone, and you will be just angry. Okay, if you have created a tab, this is tab 1. I will show you just what it looks like if we have another tab. This is just like 2 different sides, you could say, 2 tabs where different things can be created and stored, like different interfaces. I'm on tab 1 and I'm going to create a very quick basic what do we need? A button. We can have a look at, we can try to just rebuild this this MIDI controller. This would be 2 buttons in a row. I'm going to build 1 row here because I'm showing you, some different technique to, it's called matrix, where you have to add 1 widget. Here it's called matrix, like this, and there you can create a whole bunch of these buttons, sliders, whatever you need. For the moment, I'm just going for 1 button and a slider. Get me another widget, basic. No, it's on the sliders. So we need a fader. It looks like that. I'm just going to position them roughly here, just for the sake of having something to work with. 1 button, 1 slider, 1 knob. Knobs are also on the sliders, so quite big. Make it smaller. We'll have this placed here. Okay, because there are 2 knobs, I will just create another one. Maybe a different approach. Select that and press. I will show you with a right click. Of course, there are shortcuts, but I will show you with copy and then right click, paste, and there you have several options. For the moment, we are going with ID +1. Somehow important because everything here needs its own ID. It's very unique ID to not be confused with other knob sliders and whatnot. So we have a knob, we have a slider, we have 2 buttons. Looks somehow like the controller. Of course, you can customize that in any way you want. This is very powerful. Everything is controlled with CSS here, but out of the scope, way out of the scope of this tutorial. So I'm starting with the slider. And this area here is the very important stuff you have to set up. For example, again, ID, that's the same reason why we did this paste +1 here. Everything needs its unique ID, so this one is called fader1. Everything else is not of interest in the moment. Fader style, we can here have a look at the fader itself, what it is sending later on. The range, I would say at the moment is interesting. I want to, as Vimix is also reacting to a value range of 0 to 1. We want to set up this in the same manner here. So minimum is 1. If we are all down, it's 1. If we are all down here, it's 0, and all the way up is 1. So to control knobs and sliders, you have to select them once, and then you can change their values. This is, if you get rid of the editing mode, you can control them just by clicking on them. No extra click needed. So back to the slider. So enough for that. At the moment, we want to see something happening. Here we are just where we want to be. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to know what I'm writing here, but in a minute I show you where you get all the information you need. So we want to talk to Vimix. This is all about the address I was talking about. So Vimix, so I'm going with batch number 1. Oh, no, it's starting with 0, so first batch in the array would be batch number 1. And we're going to change the alpha value. So pre-args is not interesting at the moment. Type tags. We are going to send a float. I hope you are familiar with these kind of different data values. A float, we're going to send decimals, not that important. And here is the target. Target is the same as IP address in port. In my case, my machine, yeah, I'm going to show you because, yeah. And so now we need a port. We need a colon here, and we should give it a port. So here we see that OpenStage control is on port 7001. So if I click here, this would mean actually put to the server. Default is 8080. I changed that. If you before starting up OpenStage control, if you kill that here, if you delete that, it will send on 8080. I want to have it on 7001. And then we want to know where to send this. This means we need some information from Vimix. There, this is where we left off. And this is where we left off. And we need some information. So port in, this would mean the port that Vimix is receiving data. This would be 7000. And port out, the same, just as we set up with OpenStage control. Yeah, where is it? Like here it is, 7001. So this fits perfectly. So now we know that port in is 7000. We copy that and just paste it here. And now we're going to have a look at the output of OpenStage. Yeah, everything. I'm trying. So maybe get rid of edit mode. We have some more space and have a look at that. So something is sending. So OpenStage control is telling us that there is something going out. Every time you read out in this terminal, you know that something went out of OpenStage control. Okay, so neat, but what now? Nothing is happening in Vimix. Why not? Because we haven't created a batch so far. Maybe you remember one of the older tutorials showed you how to create a batch. I'm going to bring up the player window here, and we are on. Oh, we have it. What is batch? Oh no, yeah. Batch 0 is always created. It looks like, but nothing is in there. So user selection, and we can see the user selection here. This is what we selected. Okay, and I want to create out of my. Oh well, let's take both of them. So I'm going to select both of them. User selection, and I want to create a batch out of this selection. I'm confused. Oh no! Oh, I see. Batch 0 was an old one, so we can just delete this. Now batch 0 is this one. So let's see what happens. Oh my God! Look at that. I am happy. It just works. So I wasn't sure, to be honest. I wasn't sure if this address is still the same. Sometimes something changes, like from a capital B to a lowercase b. And no, it's just perfect. Okay, so we have successfully set up an OpenStage controller to control something in Vimix, and this is the beginning of whatever you want. Maybe not that much, but a lot. I can tell you, a lot. Okay, same could go with a knob. I'm just thinking about what we could do. Let's have a look at Vimix and useful information. I know that there is some. No, it's not the right one. I know that there is somewhere. I think it's the help. Okay, let's get the help. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yeah, maybe I should have mentioned that earlier in the process. The help here is helpful. Okay. In our case, for open sound control, it is. So I'm not going into the help now. Go through all of this and you will be a professional in Vimix, I swear. So at the moment, when it's about documentation, we are after OpenStage control. So if you click there, the documentation, the wiki of Bruno, Herbelin, the GitHub site is shown. And this is where you get all information about what you can control with OSC commands. And this is just beautiful. First time I saw it, it was like a dream coming true. Thanks again, Bruno, for this work, for your software. Just to show you what we could do, for example, if we have a color correction somewhere enabled, so this would enable disable. Let's, for example, change the brightness of something. Okay, so we just grab this command and we are selecting the knob we set up here. Paste this into the address. Yeah, this is the full address with argument, example, and a value. We should just, in type tags, it's a type of float. Just like we did, the knob is sending, it's from 0 to 1, perfect. It's a float, and the same target is here. I'm just going to copy that for the moment, and we have to get rid of this here, And now we should, so what was it? Vimix current. Okay, this is something else. We are going for, no, why not? Current, okay. Current, this means, just to compare it with the slider, so here we controlled a batch. So, I mean, you can read the address as we, in this IP address we are sending to. We want to call Vimix, and in Vimix we want to call the batch that we created and change its alpha. So in this command it would mean we are calling Vimix and we want the current, whatever that is, the current clip or whatever, change its brightness. Okay, current. Current is very easy. Current is just what you selected for the moment. So if I select that, so maybe we bring this one up here to see something. If you select that, that is the current selected source. And if we are about to change this knob, so we could have a look. This is always my way to check if my chain of checking if everything is right. If we are turning the knob here, yeah, we get some outgoing OSC commands, but nothing is happening here in Vimix at the moment because for the brightness to work, we have to enable the color correction on the source. So click here or double click here. So double click here will bring up the same. Will bring up the same options. Here we can enable the color correction, and I hope that now, nope, where is it? There it is. Getting rid of the edit modes. I hope that for now, oh, look at that. So we are turning the knob and the brightness. You can even see the slider. Whoops, where's my? You can even see the slider here. Can you? Hopefully, yeah, we are on the right screen. You can move it here, or now you can move this slider, this knob up and down to control the brightness slider of this current source. So, of course, you can do the if we are using the command current here, it goes for all the sources that are currently selected, not all at once, only the one that is selected, or, and what we are going to try, or maybe even for a selection. I don't know. Let's check that. Current, double click, enable. Let's have a look. It works for this as good as for this one. Okay, and if we now select both of them, no. Okay, and this is because I mean, I never tried it, but I'm pretty sure that it is because current is only for a single clip. And maybe, I'm just trying now, maybe we are successful if we type in selection here. Let's see. Oh wow, look at that. So selection is just the right term we use here in OpenStage control to have an effect on to have values sent over to Vimix. Isn't that something? This was an introduction. With buttons, I think with buttons there come several issues that you will run into in the beginning, because buttons have different modes. So I'm going to close this one, button. So here under button, if you select a button, you have a mode option, drop down menu where you can say toggle, push, momentary, or tab. Well, there's another hope. I hope that you are familiar what this means, but maybe you remember when we did the input mapping here in Yeah, I killed it, so it's not there anymore. But when we did this input mapping here for, was it Luna for alpha, there we had the key press option or the key down option, what would mean that it's like a toggle or just a press. So, and for MIDI buttons, or what we are basically doing here is trying to rebuild a MIDI interface, but as a virtual interface that is sending OSC commands. There are two more options: toggle, push, momentary, and tab. All these have a special way to send data. So push would, for example, mean you can see it just by the animation. So if I push, the button is highlighted, and if I let loose, it's not. So this would be the push option. Toggle is click once, it's activated. Click twice, it's deactivated again. So momentary would be okay. I don't know if you can see this in the recording, but as soon as I click the button, it flashes only once, very slightly. So don't know if you see that. This is another option for buttons. And tab, well, tab looks similar, but you see, now I'm not familiar with it. It looks similar like momentary, but one of these two, I think, is sending as long as you're pushing down and the other not. So momentary or tab, I can't remember. No, it's push. Well, yeah, I don't remember. Don't kill me. Maybe a little bit light for the last words for this part. I just hope that everything is like you want it and need it. Sorry, I had some problem here with my with my screenshot. Okay, yeah. This is the very basic introduction to OpenStage control and how to set it up with Vimix. In the next part, I'm going to use the promised matrix style to rebuild the MIDI controller as a virtual interface. And hopefully then we are going to hook up the MIDI interface, the hardware MIDI interface to OpenStage control, and finally have what I always had in mind when I began this tutorial, having a nice setup with hardware devices controlling Vimix over an interface called OpenStage control. I hope you have some good information out of these tutorials. If so, stay tuned.